Hello YouTube friends, it's Lee here. Welcome to Junk Journal January for 2025. This is an open challenge hosted by Meg from Meg Journals. There's a link to Meg's channel in my video description box. Hello everyone, it's Lee here. We're doing day 9, which is hidden. So I've got a few bits and bobs here. So that's a piece of eco-dyed paper, and I've got some other bits off the side. What I'm going to make is, how would I describe it? It's going to be a hidden journaling spot with also a hidden pocket behind it. That's probably the best way I can think of describing it. So I'm just getting my page set up, and I've ruled a line down the center so I know exactly where the middle of that signature is, and I don't go gluing things in the wrong place. I'm just going to trim that down. So this is a page out of a bird watching book, or a bird identifying book. It's an old one. I really like the color, and I love these sort of illustrations, sketchy sort of drawings of birds. So thank you very much to everyone who's been leaving the lovely comments and the hearts and the smiley faces. That's been wonderful. Really appreciate you doing that. So welcome to anyone who's new here. I hope you like my channel. I hope you like the way that I do my stuff and the way that I present. What's the word for it? Like, I'm not putting on any airs and graces. I'm just being myself. So, you know, it's warts and all. You'll hear me make mistakes, say things wrong. If you like my style of crafting, please hit the subscribe button. Would love to have you back for more videos. So what I've done is just stuck that little extra bit into the middle where there was a gap on that piece of paper. And now I'm just going to work out what elements I want to have in and around this particular thing. So what I'm going to have this become is a lift up flap sort of thing, and there'll be a removable writing pad in inverted commas inside it. So I'll just make a pad out of scrap papers and install it in there. I'm just making it up as I go. I had a sort of idea what I wanted to do, but it evolved as I went along. So that thing there, that is one of Louisa Heinzel's free digitals from one of the Ephemerember challenges. So if you want that, you can find that on her webpage. So it's still up there. So just auditioning pieces, seeing what I like and where I like them, and trying to formulate a plan in my head as I go. Yeah, so it does come together really nicely. I'm really proud of this one. I love it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And I really hope that when I'm doing these, that it gives you ideas. I try and not do the same things that everybody else does. I try to be original, although sometimes as hard as you try, you may end up doing something exactly the same as somebody else. And yeah, so that does happen from time to time, but it's all just part of this, you know, doing the junk journaling. You couldn't possibly be 100% original and guarantee that nobody else has done what you're doing beforehand. You'd have to be pretty, it'd have to be very unlikely that would happen. Okay, so this is just some scrap paper, and I'm going to use this to make my little writing pad that's going to go underneath that bird flappy thing. And I'll add a couple more pieces into it. I just want it to be hidden underneath the flap. And that piece on the left hand side, which is a bit that's left over from the Ephemerember challenge, I end up using that to make a pocket behind the page as well. So 2 hidden things. And most of what I'm using is scraps, book pages, and just leftovers from previous challenges that haven't been used, or things that I haven't finished. So here I'm just working out how tall I need to make things. That's going to be the flap that, well, I'll have to put, how do I say this? There. So something's got to hold that book in there. I don't want it falling out, that little pad. So that's going to be a flap on the back of it. So this is the thing that's going to hold it in there. And the flap's going to go down in there like that. Just like that. So I just wanted to push that in there just to make sure that the glue didn't dry in the wrong place. So I'll pull it out before it dries and gets stuck in there. And I decided to hinge this piece rather than to just glue it onto the page. So I think it will lift up and down easier if it is actually hinged on. This is the hinge piece that I'm making into a hinge. I'm just going to make it nice and pliable so it opens and shuts nice and easily. And then I'll put it on, and I just glue this bit down, and then I have a different idea about what I want to do with it. So I was going to glue that onto the page, but instead I glue it over the top of the page. So I do originally stick it down, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to put it there. So I quickly pull it off, and then I'll stick down a piece of this tea bag paper just to cover up where the glue pulled some of the surface off that paper. So that piece that's sitting up there in the corner, that's going to get glued onto the back of this piece that's here, and then the whole lot will get glued down onto the page. I'm just trying to decide whether I like the peeled paint or this, no, what is it? Yeah, I think it's peeled paint. I'll have to have a look at that. Oh, now I'm not sure. I know that's speckled egg. Salvage patina, that's what the other one is. So. And a couple of stamps. And I do use that trim that's off to the side there on my little flap, as well as on the little booklet I make to go inside my hidden spot on the back of this thing. I'm not really making much sense at the moment. I can't get my words out today. I've been like it all day, so why change? Alright, so I'm just working out what I want to do with it, and I thought the easiest thing to do is to actually fold it in half, and I want part of it to be sticking out, so I'm going to cut off some of this. And then glue it closed down the sides, and then I'll glue it onto the back of the piece that I've just been making, like so, with the bit sticking out. So I'm just applying a bit of ink so that you don't see that blank white paper. I end up putting some of the green on it a bit later on. So this is how I'm going to attach it to the page that I've just made, like that. So that's going to go on the left hand side in my book, so that will be poking out. You'll see that, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. And I do put a couple of stamps on this as well. Alright, so ready to attach it into the book. So the whole thing is going to get glued down. So everything's going to be locked inside. It can't come out, or, you know, nothing will be able to, you know, it's all sealed in there. That's what I'm trying to say. So popping that down. So I'm making a little booklet that's going to go into that pocket that I just put on the back there. So I'm checking my paper size to make sure it's not too big, not too small. I'm just going to use some of these pages out of this other little bird book that have just been sitting on my desk in amongst the scrap pile for quite a while, so I thought, why not use them? And I'll just staple them in and fold them up. I make a mistake when I do fold them. For some reason, I don't fold them in the right place. I don't know what I was thinking, but then I had to refold them. So there's two folds and everything. I was just folding them in half, and well, you can see what's going to happen. Yeah, it won't close because they've come down over the other half. So I just make that little adjustment there, and I think I do trim a little bit of that off, so they're not sticking out of that little folder. Yep. I only took about half, oh, maybe a quarter of an inch off it. A little bit of ink helps make the world go around. Now these staples, for some reason, I don't know why, but I think maybe they're the wrong size for the stapler. But they're as old as the hills. I don't know how long I've had them for. But they don't sort of flatten down properly on the back. Sometimes I can manage to get them to go down by squashing them with a bone folder or something. But these ones are still sticking up a little bit, so I decided to put a bit of this washi tape on, which is like little stamps. And then I thought, well, I'll make a little pull-out thing for the folder with a washi stamp as well. And then I decided it was too flimsy. I took it off and I added some of that lace that was on the desk before. I just added a little bit of that salvage patina ink, as well as a couple more of those stamps, just so everything sort of looks good together. And that stamp, that's the one I pulled off the book. Just thought might as well stick it in there rather than let it go to waste. So I had to use a heavy duty glue on this one, just to make sure that it would stick to the actual booklet, the paper. I've stapled the tab closed, and that's how I'm going to glue it on now. I have to put this one aside to dry because the glue is coming through the holes in the lace. So I decided that I wanted some sort of tie to hold that closed, so I put a little eyelet in the page, and then I fiddled around for a while trying to make a closure with some thread. In the end I just tied a couple of pieces on. The first one I did was too short, so I redid it. So we've just got a piece on the bottom and then attach another piece to the actual little piece of lace here, tie it off. I don't make things easy for myself. I have a fair bit of arthritis in my hands. They're all swollen at the moment, so yeah, trying to tie a bow in that tiny little thing was like, why did I do it to myself? Anyway, I do replace it with the longer one a bit later on. So everything I think looks pretty nice, all colour coordinating. Here I go again, trying to tie a bow in that, just so I can show it to you. And then, oh, why not another stamp? Just found it on my desk. Okay, so I thought, because the prompt was hidden, that I would hide the prompt inside the little flap, so I've written it in there. And I've undone that, so now I've got to tie it up again. Glutton for punishment. Alrighty, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it's given you an idea. You might have been stuck with what to do with some of the prompts, so yeah, I like to think that I've been of service to somebody of help. Yeah, and that my idea has helped you create your own idea. So this is me redoing that tie, just making it a little bit easier to tie up. So happy crafting and creating, and we'll see you for the next one. So in the meantime, hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo!